Hi, I'm Pip and I'm the founder of Pip Nut. We are an all-natural nut butter brand that's totally delicious. We make all sorts of different flavors from a peanut butter right the way through to kind of almond butters and more interesting flavors like our coconut almond butter. So yeah, we're palm oil free, completely natural and sold in all sorts of supermarkets up and down the UK. My route into food and drink and sort of running a food business was not a kind of classic one. I started my career as a theatre producer, so I spent a few years post-university in sort of the cultural sector, learning my ropes on how to kind of produce different theatre productions in London. However, the passion and reason for starting Pip Nut came from, I guess, a few different threads. Firstly, I'm a big marathon runner. I've done loads of running, and for me, nut butter and peanut butter was like my perfect running fuel. Like, it's great energy source. It also tastes really delicious. So for me, it was like my post-run treat. And I think also I'm a huge foodie myself. I have a big family. Food's been a big part of my upbringing, and also the fact that I live in London, it's such a hotbed for kind of food trends and spotting the next big thing. And for me, I sort of started to kind of notice the opportunity within this particular product, which was to bring something that was much more natural to the market. Most brands back then were really processed, very Americanized. Most brands also had palm oil in there, and that was something for me, as someone that was more health conscious and eco conscious, just didn't agree with. And I guess the third thing is that, I'm a younger shopper, someone that kind of likes brand, and there wasn't really like a cool brand in this space that I thought resonated with me as a healthy Londoner, sort of living that kind of lifestyle. And so I literally just started in my kitchen, in my day, like in and around my day job. So kind of my weekends and evenings, literally making the products in my kitchen and taking them to market. So that was kind of like the early stages of, I guess, creating the brand and the products, but really like no experience in food and drink whatsoever, no experience running a business. In fact, I never really thought I would ever become like an entrepreneur. It wasn't really something that I'd thought about much as a career path. So looking back now, it feels like, yeah, a bit of a sidestep, but really exciting journey that we've been on since sort of creating the products in my kitchen about 8-9 years ago now. So yeah, in the last couple of years, it's been a bit of a whirlwind for Pip Nut. We've, our feet didn't really touch the ground throughout the last year. COVID saw a massive surge in our kind of demand for our product, which kept us pretty busy during lockdowns. And off the back of that, I guess our growth has just continued to kind of skyrocket, really. We're now stocked in all the major supermarkets, and for us, that has been a real game changer over the last few years as we started to kind of unlock that kind of national distribution. And from a business perspective, we've also made some really big changes over the last year. So we moved all of our jars into glass, which is a big project we landed over the summer. And again, just kind of completely transform the look and feel of the brand, which hopefully should set us up for success over the next few years. And I guess one of the other big highlights this year was our first step into kind of TV advertising. Massive moment for like a small business to suddenly see your brand on TV, which was incredible. So we're starting to do some really big activations and kind of campaigns to support the business. So yeah, we're the fastest growing nut butter brand. We've over the last 3 years over doubled the business. So it has been an amazing journey generally, and it's for us over the next few years. It's about looking at how we can expand our portfolio of products. Everything from looking at breakfast occasions to snacking as areas that we're kind of exploring, as well as obviously loads of new innovation that we're going to be launching in our kind of nut butter range as well. So that's going to be a big thread. And then also looking at export as well. Where else might we go that isn't the UK, where we can start to kind of grow the brand overseas as well. So yeah, some big things on the horizon, which will, yeah, no doubt keep us busy as well. Becoming a B-Corp has probably been one of my proudest moments of running the business over the last 6 years. B-Corps are essentially just one of the highest certifications that you can have as a company that kind of sort of certifies that you use your business as a force for good. And so what that means is that when we think about our business, we look at the triple bottom line. So we don't just look at how we drive profit, but we look at how we can look after people and planet at the same time. So that kind of triple bottom line approach. And I guess this sort of kind of ethos has been part of our brand from day one. Main foundation for starting a business was about sort of removing palm oil from our products, and so really thinking more deeply about how do we really do good from an environmental perspective. And I guess fundamentally our products do good as well. They are healthy and nutritious, and they keep people fueled all day. So again, it's really kind of, for us, B-Corp takes us that one step further and really starts to embed throughout our whole company how we might think about how to be more ethical and sustainable. So that could vary from, things like making sure you have really good governance structure, or that you have transparency within your business so that everyone in your team understands the financials or the shareholders within the company, right the way through to kind of like how you look after your team, whether that's making sure that you have learning and development opportunities, or that you have fair pay across the business. We're a London living wage employers, like one example. And then from an environmental perspective, how you every year continually pushing and making your business more sustainable from an environmental perspective, and thinking about the impact that you have on the planet by making your products. So for us, we're looking at our carbon footprint, and we're looking at becoming net zero over the next sort of 10 to 15 years. And for us, that's a huge commitment, but really starts to embed like sustainable thinking and design within every step of our innovation process as well, and how we make our products now. So yeah, it's a huge challenge, and it isn't something to take lightly, because it does touch every single part of your business. But from a B Corp perspective, it's something which I know that my team as well hold in quite high esteem. So for them, it's also really important, I think, from a wider team perspective, that you work for a company that isn't just about profiting off people, but really thinking about the full picture about your impact. So yeah, I guess for me, it sets the business up for what I believe all businesses should do in the future, which is really thinking about how you are having an impact societally, not just your company in isolation. So I think it's integral, just fundamentally, but also it's kind of what kind of business I want to run and be part of and stand behind. So yeah, I think it's a number of reasons for doing it, but yeah, it is quite a lengthy process. Took around a year to get certified, and make some of the changes. But you're really on a journey from the point of certification. It doesn't really stop. You then have to look at how you continue to improve. And every 3 years, the measures that B Corp look at to kind of measure businesses and certify them against them gets harder every time. So you've constantly got to be improving. You've constantly got to be making changes throughout your company to step on and make sure that you're kind of not resting on your laurels. So yeah, it's a commitment for the long term, not just the immediate kind of certification. So we've been working with Hackney Food Bank now for probably about I'll start again because that was my computer. I'll just turn that off. Sorry, don't know why that went off. It's just my yeah. So we've been working with Hackney Food Bank for the last 3 years now, but really started to ramp up our support of that food bank in the last 2 years, particularly since COVID really started to make a huge kind of impact in terms of the amount of people that were accessing food banks due to kind of sort of food poverty in London, but more broadly across the UK. And I think for me, like these sorts of initiatives often come from a bit of more from the heart than the head. It's something which I think as a food brand during COVID, we recognised that actually there was a place that we could actually genuinely support our local community by donating products to our local food bank and then giving access to people, obviously, to have healthy, nutritious products on a regular basis. And I guess it's that age old saying, like, charity starts at home. And the reason why we started with Hackney Food Bank is that we're an East London based brand. Hackney Food Bank is our local food bank, and we'd been volunteering with them for quite a while as a team, just generally. So we've got a number of different kind of mechanisms. You can donate a jar on our website and we'll match it. Every order from our website also gets a jar that we donate to Hackney Food Bank, and then we also give hours as well. So all of my team have up to 3 days that they can use to volunteer within kind of food kind of poverty kind of issues. So again, it's looking at not just how you can give product, but also how you can support through your time as well. And I think, again, I guess there isn't really like a kind of commercial reason for doing something like that. For me, it's just the fact that we're a business that operates in a community, has an impact on society, and we can and should be going further than just our day-to-day business practices, and actually looking at how we can give back as well. And our purpose is to help people love food that loves them and the planet, and that really to deliver on that can't just be for the exclusive people that can afford to buy our product, but it should also be for those people that can't. So yeah, all the food parcels that get sent out from food banks always include peanut butter, so it felt like a really meaningful way that we could actually support. So this year our target is to donate 40,000 jars to our local food bank, as well as quite a significant amount of our team's time as well in volunteering hours. So it's kind of a dual effect, and we hope that every year we'll step on that and start to kind of grow and hopefully start to broaden that reach nationally to support more food banks around the UK. So my ambition for the brand is to become the most sustainable nut butter brand in the world. And so I think for me, like a big goal and what I'd love to see in the next 5 years is us really delivering on that mission. So whether that's completely being on target or maybe even being net zero as a business, looking at initiatives where we can improve the biodiversity and our sourcing stories around our kind of ingredient purchasing and things like that, and really thinking about how we can be that sort of beacon brand of how a business can actually not just be about profit, like I said, but actually really embed that kind of triple bottom line within everything that we do. So I think for me it's more about what impact we can have, and as a result what influence we could have as well within other businesses to kind of actually think differently about how business is done. I think that would be for me a really proud feeling and thing to look back on. So yeah, that and being a brand that you can see in every single cupboard in every person's house in the UK would also be one of the big goals on the pad.